Okay, so just hit the replay recording button for our Taurus Eclipse virtual circle. Most of you are aware, please gather into your space. Anything that feeds your senses. I would love for you to have something that smells good and tastes good, or maybe you can have something that has both, and just bring that in. Give yourself a really cozy nest for this practice, because Taurus is all about comfort and aesthetics. So as much as you can make, you can't really see my altar yet because I'm sitting in front of it, but I have all sorts of shiny things on the altar there for our Taurus energy. And a lot of information, there's a lot happening, but because Taurus is fixed earth, I want to start us really slow and sensual. So if you want to find a comfortable seat, if you have something that smells good, if you want to rub it on your hands or bring it to your face and just start to ground, start to settle into your roots, into your body. And I'm going to read something that most of you have probably heard before, but it came to me when I was out on a walk yesterday in this Taurus energy. So in the Northern Hemisphere, the movement of the sun into Taurus marks the middle of the season. So the middle of spring. In the Celtic calendar, this is Beltane. This is the most fertile, juicy part of the year. Southern Hemisphere, you are in Samhain. You are in the middle of autumn, which is also very potent and powerful. So wherever you are on the earth, on the land, let yourself ground and settle. And again, if you can smell something that's good, taste something. Let's take a big breath in together and out. Feel your roots, your sits bones, temperature of the skin, the smells, tastes. Listen to the words of the Great Mother, who of old was called Artemis, Astarte, Dion, Melusine, Aphrodite, Caradwin, Diana, Arianrod, Bridget, and by many other names. Whenever you have need of anything, once a month, and better it be when the moon is full, you shall assemble in some secret place and adore the spirit of me, who is queen of all the wise. Sing, feast, dance, make love and music, all in my presence, for mine is the ecstasy of the spirit, and mine also is joy on earth. For my love is law unto all beings. Mine is the secret that opens the door of youth, and mine is the cup of wine of life that is the cauldron of Caradwin, that is the holy grail of immortality. I give the knowledge of the spirit eternal, and beyond death I give peace and freedom and reunion with those that have gone before. Nor do I demand aught of sacrifice, for behold, I am the mother of all things, and my love is poured out upon the earth. Hear the words of the star goddess, the dust of whose feet are the hosts of heaven, whose body encircles the universe. I, who am the beauty of the green earth and the white moon among the stars and the mysteries of the waters, I call upon your soul to arise and come unto me, for I am the soul of nature that gives life to the universe. From me all things proceed, and unto me they must return. Let my worship be in the heart that rejoices, for behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you. And you who seek to know me, know that the seeking and yearning will avail you not, unless you know the mystery. For if that which you seek you find not within yourself, you will never find it without. For behold, I have been with you from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desire. Take a big breath in. Exhale, place a hand to heart, a hand to belly. And that is the charge of the goddess, the traditional language by Doreen Valiente, and is adapted by Starhawk. And that to me summarizes this cycle. And not just this cycle, but sort of the bigger picture of this next 18 months that is sort of focused with Taurus in the North Node, the North Star, the destination point for the collective. And so maybe just notice in your body, in your space, with your sense and smells around you, if any of that language resonated. And you can easily Google that, find it. I can always send you the link, but it's a wonderful invocation, prayer, poetry to work with this new moon that's coming, this full moon that's coming. And as I mentioned, through this next 18 months, as we move towards this destination of a more Taurus aligned cycle. And so again, just take another big breath in and out. So as we enter into this space, we are in the Taurus cycle. The Taurus solar cycle began on April 19th and it will go until May 20th. We also have Mercury in Taurus from the 10th till the 29th. So we'll start to transition out this week. And then the big energy in Taurus is Uranus has been in Taurus since March of 2019, and it will be here till July of 2025. And the North Node cycle just started January 18th, 2022, and will go through July 17th, 2023. And so that's a lot of energy in Taurus. So every year, this time of year, we enter Taurus, which activates the second house of astrology. The second house rules resources, money, self-worth, pleasure, aesthetics, and how we receive. And that's an important how we receive. So much about values. That's one of a really big keyword of Taurus. And then some years, there's more or less energy in Taurus. And as I mentioned, this year, it's very potent because of that North Node shift. The North and South Node are not, they're not a good or a bad thing. They're just part of the emerging story, the emergent story that we're experiencing, with the South Node being more of an old story or something we've experienced as a culture that we're ready to sort of shift away from. And the North Node being this destination, right? We've always heard like the North Star, follow the North Star. So the North Node has this quality of like, when in doubt, we look to the aesthetics, we look to value, we look to the earth, because Taurus is the slowest, most rooted earth. It's fixed earth. It's the deep, deep, deep earth energy. And Taurus, is about its intimacy, its aesthetics. One of my teachers talks about Taurus as intimacy as an art form, and the intention, the mysteries of Taurus that are so important, again, as a collective for the next 18 months, and particularly heightened right now, sacred pleasure as an art form, healthy receiving, bringing spirit into matter simply to enjoy it. And really the goal of Taurus is self-worth. Could you imagine if every person on this planet really felt worthy, how we would treat each other in the earth? Because so much of our pain comes from not feeling good enough, being told we're not good enough, and then lashing out. There's a very simple statement that's like, hurt people hurt people. And that's not intended to bypass violence and pain and trauma, but it's an important quality. And so much of Taurus is, again, about deeply valuing yourself. And Uranus is the revolutionary, the rebel, the lightning, and it's been in Taurus since 2019. It will be here till 2025 during this nodal time. So we are having to revolutionize how we receive, how we value ourselves, and especially how we value the planet and our home, right? So the second house is really coming into our bodies, coming into this body as temple, as a vessel. And also, kind of supporting us this cycle, we still have a Pisces stellium going in the sky. Pisces and Taurus actually get along really well because they're the romantics, they're the sensual energies of the zodiac. But we have Venus till May 5th in Pisces, Mars till the 24th, Jupiter till the 10th. So actually Jupiter's been in Pisces for the last year, and that's been a big part of the story. And then May 10th, it moves to Aries. So that will actually shake up some of the bigger picture as well. And then Neptune is also in Pisces till 525. So we have this Pisces energy along with Taurus, and Pisces again is empathic and loving and unconditional. And so that's really, so a lot of this Taurus energy might be coming up in dreams. I know I've been having some really interesting dreams lately. So how that's kind of manifesting in there. And so, Like I said, I think in general, anytime we're in this time of year, we really have to look to value, worth, beauty, aesthetics, and our relationship to that and that receiving. But this year, especially because of the eclipses, so the new moon is actually coming up this Saturday. On the, well, yeah, the 30th. So actually right before that, on the 29th. So we've had all planets direct for a couple of months now, kind of going direct. And now we start to move towards some retrograde action. Pluto is the first to go retrograde on the 29th, same day Mercury moves into Gemini. And then on the 30th, we enter the new moon portal with the solar eclipse in Taurus. It's a partial solar eclipse. So like I said, this starts an eclipse series that will last 18 months. And we haven't been in this exact series for like 19 years. That was the last time we had Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node. So it's interesting to reflect on things that were happening 19, 20-ish years ago. That those might be some themes that come up. And then on May 10th, Mercury goes retrograde, but it will be in Gemini, and Jupiter moves into Aries. And then on the 15th, 16th of May, depending on where you are, we have the Scorpio total lunar eclipse. And this is all within the mid-season window. So the Beltane window in the Northern Hemisphere and the Samhain window in the Southern Hemisphere. So that activates basically, now, but especially this week as we move closer to this new moon in Taurus until the lunar Beltane, which is on that Scorpio new moon. So anytime we have a portal of the cross-quarter days, really deep opportunity for initiation, really deep opportunity for ritual and ceremony. And so with Taurus, as I mentioned, the nice thing about Taurus, it's all about sacred pleasure and art and receiving. And the shadow side of Taurus can be a laziness, a greediness, a lethargy, right? Everything has its shadow, and that's part of the dynamic. And the relationship between Taurus and Scorpio. So Scorpio is fixed water, which is the depth, the unconscious, it's sexuality, it's transformation, it's the shamanic aspect, whereas Taurus is earth, it's sensual, it's material, it's manifest. It's really about what's here and now. Scorpio is interested in what's under the surface, like what's deeply under. Taurus is about, right, what can I smell? What can I touch? What can I taste? So we are feeling that pull between those energies. But because Scorpio is in the South Node, and so the South Node often has to do with those eclipses where we're letting go. So where have we been caught up in power struggles? Where have we been attached to other people's wealth and other people's dynamics? Taurus is really getting into your own value and worth as your own temple, as your own entity, and really becoming in a lot of ways more self-sufficient in a very sensual way, right? So different from Capricorn, which is very much about being the authority figure. Taurus is about themselves. It's like, I want to be able to take care of myself in a quality of life, right? And so, like I said, this Uranus as well, it's revolutionizing that dynamic. And Scorpio eclipses though, so Scorpio full moon total eclipse is very intense. And that, like I said, sort of closes this whole initiation window. And then we don't kind of revisit until Scorpio cycle. That will be when the next eclipses come up because they're related to Taurus and Scorpio. So then we'll have about 6 months to kind of process what just came up during these couple of weeks. So the more though, because Taurus is sort of the more dominant energy right now, I'm really tuning into Taurus, really noticing again where Taurus is, if you're familiar with your chart. Exploring that. And then again, like those themes of like really being in your senses, like really filling your space with sensuality. And again, sacred sensuality, like I said, not getting caught up in just the outer aesthetics, but really for yourself, for the earth, like being in that. This is the archetype of Aphrodite, Venus, the lover, the courtesan, the intimacy expert, the pleasure lover, the hedonist, the Epicurean, right? Like these are all qualities of Taurus that we want to bring in a little bit more. But again, remembering that it is about pleasure as art, healthy receiving, and deep, true self-worth. right? So in our own spaces, like the best for me, the way I'm kind of moving into these next couple of weeks is as much as possible be with your senses, feed yourself good food, move your body in a juicy way, like really like wear colors and things that feel comfortable and pleasing to your skin. Like spend some time naked outside if that's something that feels good for you, or like what are those things that really help you to feel good? And then from that place of feeling really good in your body, then maybe look at some of those deeper aspects. Where are your fears? Where are you struggling with value and worth? Where are you making other people responsible for your wealth, for your pleasure, right? Like, are you taking responsibility for your own pleasure? Are you taking time to do things that pleasure yourself in a good, healthy, receptive way? Looking at some of those shadows of pleasure, some of those instant gratifications, what my teacher Kim Anami calls like junk food pleasure, right? And of course, we all have to determine, we all know the difference between like gourmet and junk food, right? So Taurus is really about clearing out the junk and really coming into the gourmet, even whether that's like the foods you eat, the stuff you put on your skin, what you bring into your space, your relationships, like how you relate, like sort of. So a lot of the Scorpio old story is shedding the junk, the kind of lethargy, laziness of like, I'm just going to binge this for 2 hours rather than actually getting up and doing a ritual with my body in my space, right? And that doesn't mean we can't indulge, but maybe do a little bit of both, maybe do an oil massage and some movement and then go binge your favorite show, right? So like find a little balance there. And so in the practice today, and in the ritual, as always, we're going to keep it really simple, something that can kind of stay with you and that you can kind of bring into the next couple of weeks, the next, few weeks, or maybe even, like I said, right now is a seeding point for this next year and a half, because this is the first time we've been in Taurus since Taurus has been in the North Node, right? And that happened in January. So in a sense, this is seeding kind of what might be happening. Now, eclipses, and especially with Uranus, can bring sudden, unexpected change. And actually, I got gifted an angel deck recently, and so I've been playing with them. And so the card I pulled is a surprise is on the horizon, which is a nice way of saying, Uranus is active right now, because Uranus does bring sort of very sudden and unexpected shifts. But the more we're in our body, the more we're in our value and our worth and asking for that and being, so there's one thing, it's one thing to ask for your worth. It's another to know how to receive it. And that's another side of Taurus, right? Yeah, that's a big one for me. It's like, okay, I'm going to ask for what I want, but then if you're going to actually give it to me, I don't actually know what to do with that, because it's like, because that's almost that Scorpio power of like, yeah, you're going to give me that or pay me that or do that. And then when someone's like, okay, and then you're like, wait, what? That worked? Oh, okay. All right. Well, now I actually have to accept my worth. And sometimes that's even more uncomfortable than asking, is receiving. So start with receiving for yourself, taking time to receive things that smell good, taste good, feel good, asking for what you need in sort of sensual dynamics, whether from ideally, like the Taurus is very much about self-interest. And of course it likes when people engage in sensuality with it, but it's fine to do it on its own if someone's not around to do the way they want. But it's having that sacred relationship with yourself, right? That charge of the goddess or God or deity, and bringing that in. So, like I said, as always, I could talk the entire time about these energies because it's so fascinating. It's so interesting, and there's so much depth. But it doesn't matter how many things I say because we all have to experience it, right? Like we all have to walk through these next few weeks with however this manifests. And so in my experience, that's why get into the body, get into the breath, connect with the other side of it, and trust the process, and just come back to these ideas: worth, value, receiving, that sacred art, like bringing things in for pleasure. And there's a beautiful book called Pleasure Activism that's really beautiful for this Taurus Uranus cycle. So that's a really good one too to look into, of how to kind of engage in a way that, be an activist for the world, for life, but do it in a way that can feel really good and bring more beauty in. So, okay. Again, just make sure you have all of the juicy things in your space that you want to have. And then Let's just take a moment to get into the body. So we're mostly going to be seated for movement, but if you want to get up for a minute to just shift and just give yourself a little shake. So Uranus shakes things up. So Uranus and Taurus. So good to move the body in a little bit of a different way. Good for the nervous system. Just do some shaking, some shimmying, some humming, sighing. It doesn't have to be, overly aesthetic here. Some stomping, shifting. But we want to let that Uranus energy move through us, shake us up in the way that will bring us into our healthiest, happiest, wealthiest, most abundant, joyful, beautiful self. And then let yourself just settle and feel the body. So even close your eyes for a moment and let's just get into the other senses. So notice the sounds. Obviously, there's the sound of my voice, maybe the sound of your breath, other sounds in the space. Maybe swallow, notice any taste. Take a deep breath in, observe any smell. And then feel the air on your skin, the clothes on the body. And then as you've gathered into your other senses, you might softly open your eyes and let your eyes fall on one of the beautiful things you've brought around, flowers or fruit or something in your space that is so beautiful to you. And this is a Taurus ritual, taking a couple minutes to come into your body and just tune into your senses. And that's really, if we could take a few minutes to do that every day for the next few weeks, that will be enough to help us to follow sort of the energies. Just give yourself a good shake, tune into your senses, look at something beautiful, smell something beautiful, connect. And then just take a moment to come into gratitude, appreciation for the beauty you smell, touch, taste, hear, for the earth, for your body. Another aspect that I didn't get into, but we're moving through the Venus descent cycle, the Venus morning star descent cycle. Venus is the warrior in the morning coming down through the chakras. And this month, so actually on the 26th, I'm pretty sure, I'll double check in a minute, she moves into the heart. So Venus in Pisces with moving into the heart during this Taurus season. And so it's interesting to note that even as we have this polarity of Taurus and Scorpio and Pisces, like we are being asked to come into the heart. So all those qualities of Taurus rules the senses, the neck, the throat, because it's the bull, but Venus is in the heart. And so really asking us that healthy receiving, that sacred pleasure, that pleasure activism, that self-worth coming from the heart. And so take a big, big breath and fill up your heart. Feel everything in this space, the smell, the touch, the taste. And then as you sigh it out, pour yourself forward into a ragdoll. And you can fold over a bed or chair. And again, you can just be still, you can rock. And so this time of year, the outside is so abundant, right? We're in that mid-spring. And so we want to, of course, take in all the senses. But when we get overloaded, we have to turn into ourselves. And so feel the legs, feel the feet. That connects us to the earth chakra. Letting the heart move closer to the thighs, shaking your head out. And again, pouring that gratitude and beauty and worth into the earth. Take another breath. And then slowly roll yourself down to the mat, butterfly pose, bound angle, soles of the feet together. Press your feet together, lift up, and just take a little bit of circle. So close your eyes or keep a soft gaze and a drishti at something that is beautiful. So that's a gazing point. And again, notice as we move from your sense of smell, touch, taste, sight. So as much as we can let our senses bring us in, and that's a wonderful tool for anxiety and stress and anger when we start to feel ourselves dissociate or react, coming to our senses. What am I touching right now? What am I smelling? What am I tasting? It brings us into our body. And when we're in our body, we respond, right? Taurus is slow and steady. You do not rush a Taurus. You cannot, because then you get the bull. Right? So it is the bull energy. So Taurus takes its time. It thinks things through, and then it responds. And otherwise, if it reacts, you've got a bull reacting, and that's not super fun for anyone. Reverse the direction. So slow, steady, sensual, and really considering the aesthetic, the receptivity. Every cycle has the shadows, and we all experience the shadows. It's part of life on this planet, and it's important to experience the shadows and the light so we know the vibrations and we can consciously choose to move in and out of them. And you can continue to circle and move, or you once again can let your heart pour forward towards the feet, towards the earth, palms on the earth or on the legs. Check out your head a little bit. So again, the senses and the neck. So great cycle for massage. Nice oil aromatherapy massage, especially for the neck. So any tension in the neck. So even here, you can relax your head, shake the head out, even let it rest on some support. And so with Taurus, there is this balance of like, you know, being open to the senses in the outer world, but then having to come back into our own worth, our own value. So once again, not making the world responsible for our value and worth and wealth, knowing that we can find those riches within. And some of the, you know, deities associated with this energy, you know, like Aphrodite or Lakshmi, right? Goddesses that are associated with beauty and sensuality and wealth, right? And so again, looking for that within, where do we embody those qualities? How do we find that within ourselves? And that's why it's nice to look to the wealth of nature, right? Because at any point, you know, a beautiful cloud, a hummingbird, a flower, a leaf can connect us back to that beauty that, you know, we don't have to get from anybody else. Take another big breath in to the hips, into the back. In yin tradition, earth energy is the spleen and the stomach, which is on the left side, tucked underneath the ribs. And then roll it up. And just either let your head gently shake side to side, or if it feels good for your neck, you can let the head gently bring ear to shoulder. And if it's, you know, part of your mobility of your neck, to do more of a half moon or a full moon. But just listen to the neck, be very gentle with the neck. Sometimes my neck only just likes a little shake side to side. If you are doing a more circular movement, make sure to go both ways. And not forcing, you cannot force a bull. Some of my favorite Taurus mantras are stop and smell the roses or whatever flowers are in bloom. This time of year out here, we do get roses, but we get the jasmine starting to go. And I love, whenever I smell the jasmine, I totally stop and sniff. And let yourself just come back to center. Again, give it a little shake, draw the knees in. And then just for a few breaths, let's come onto the belly. And you can either come into Sphinx or into Cobra. So Sphinx is on the forearms, pelvis down, tops of the feet down, opening the chest, softening the jaw. If you want a little bit more, so this is for that heart chakra. Thumbs in line with the chest, elbows in, roll up into Bhujangasana, into Cobra. So low Cobra can also be on the mat with the hands hovering, but power through the feet, through the pelvis. And again, just take a few breaths. Notice the smells, the tastes, the sights. Soften your jaw, relax your face. And what's very important this month is all of this is starting is that we're in the heart chakra for the Taurus new moon eclipse, for the Scorpio full moon eclipse. From the heart, take another big breath in. Exhale, push back into child's pose. If you have a little more energy and you want to go for down dog, you can. If child's pose isn't appropriate, you can come back onto your bottom into butterfly, soles of the feet. Otherwise, just take a few breaths here. And child's pose, another popular pose for when we're overstimulated with our senses, to turn back into the beauty and wisdom within. Big, big inhale. And sigh it out. Go ahead and roll up one more time onto your bottom. Bend your right knee. Give it a little hug. And then gently twist right hand behind you, left arm wrap. So give that little digestive release, or whatever it is we want to shed and let go of. And again, just be mindful with the neck, with the head turn either side. Soften the jaw. Inhale. Exhale. Switch. Big breath in as you hug the left knee in. As you're ready, right arm wraps, left arm behind. And again, you can look left or right, or just trace a little line with the neck. Soften your jaw. Inhale. Exhale, release, unwind, shake out the legs, shake out the arms. As we move into meditation, you are always welcome to stay seated. For Taurus, it's really nice to do a reclining bound angle, which can look like just laying a bolster or pillow down, supporting the head, and then coming back in that butterfly position, ideally with support under your legs. You can also take more of a traditional relaxation just on your back, with support under the knees or under the head, or if there's any position that for your body feels like a temple, right? Like really feels like that safe, sacred, sensual space. And then again, if you have an essential oil, maybe rub it on your hands and take a couple breaths, or put a couple drops on a napkin or eye pillow, or not a napkin, a washcloth, and I would put that over your eyes. So how can you kind of create this temple space for our meditation? And so give yourself a moment to gather blankets, put on socks, cover with the eyes, put on your essential oils, or again, if you have flowers or crystals or anything that you want to, you can rest a flower or some oil on your heart. You can put crystals or stones in your hands. And even if you don't have all these things right now, just know that throughout this month, if you're feeling overstimulated, lay back in a position and put some essential oils and crystals on you. Like, let these be resources for this cycle, especially during the eclipses. I'm a huge fan of, like, in some of the yogic traditions, like on the moon days, they don't do an active practice. It's only meditation and restorative. So like knowing the energies to bring in are very powerful. And so then once you get settled, start to come back to your senses. What are you smelling, tasting, touching, hearing? And I want you to set the intention that you're just receiving. You're receiving this time in circle under this waning moon, the waning moon heading towards the new moon, under the waxing sun moving closer and closer to Beltane, or the waning sun in the southern hemisphere moving to Samhain. And so again, feel the earth, the land you're on. I'm always so appreciative to be on Chumash land. Feel the land. Again, the sky, the sun in Taurus with Mercury, Uranus, and the North Node. The Piscean stellium still flowing all around us. And And we're feeling some Aquarian dynamic, Saturn in Aquarius, the moon in Aquarius, squaring. But squaring, like I said, it's what makes life interesting. Those electrical poles that draw us into change and revelation. And so while yes, there is work to do, and Taurus does work, but it wants to do it in a way that is beautiful and bountiful. And so let your body receive, let your cells drink in this time that you've carved out. A lot of energy. And this new cycle, this new eclipse nodal cycle is just beginning. We have a year and a half of moving in and out of this pole. And so we're planting this seed. So let's plant this seed deep and lovingly in the fertile earth from our hearts. So again, notice what you're touching, the earth touching you, smelling, tasting, hearing, and just follow my voice. Just gently follow my voice. Let your eyes close, letting that outer vision turn inward. Just set the intention to receive. Drop into your heart. Maybe even open with that. I receive. I receive. And if there is a more specific longing today, I receive pleasure. I receive health. I receive support. If there's something like that, like let that move into your intention, because as I said, we have a collective energy right now, but we all have our own unique relationship. But if today you want to just start with I receive. Maybe repeat that a few times, again, like placing a seed lovingly, prayerfully in the fertile, fecund, vernal earth. Feel your breath as it pulses through your heart. Drop into the back of the body. Feel all the parts of the body connected to support the skull, shoulder blades, tailbone, heels. Feel your feet, almost like you were giving yourself a little massage. Feel your toes and the soles of the feet. Feel the feet, the ankles, calves and shins, the knees. Feel your thighs. Feel your glutes. And for a moment, rest into the pelvis, sensing the floor of the pelvis, the base of the pelvis, and feeling the imprint or energy of the sex organs. And then at the perineum, that gentle space between the genitals and the anus, imagine a root dropping down, down, down through your props, through mats and wood and concrete and dirt and glass and bones and stone, dropping down, down, down into the depths of the earth, all the way to the crystal core of the planet, beautiful, radiating, pulsing crystals, and feel that cord gently wrap and connect the crystalline core of the earth. Feel secure with Mama Earth. Feel yourself connected to Mama Earth. And feel her continually regenerative energy moving up that cord, back up, 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 to the base of your spine. And feel that connection to the root. Feel it pulsing with red light energy. And just let yourself feel this connection to the earth, to the base of the spine, this deep rooted grounding cord. And then feel it start to blossom. Feel a gentle sprout begin to move up through the pelvis, up into the solar plexus, right up into the center of your heart. And as you feel the center of your heart, feel a beautiful blossoming here at the center of your heart. A beautiful blossom. It could be any flower in the world, or even a flower that this world has never seen, but it's the blossoming from your heart. Feel it, see it, sense it, this beautiful flower blossoming through from your heart. And just let yourself breathe in and out of this blossom, from the root down into the earth that is sprouted with energy up and then opened at your heart center. And notice the petals on this flower, the fragrance, the color. And as you feel into these petals, I'm going to begin to call out some body parts. And as I call out the body parts, imagine breathing into this flower and then a petal being placed on the body parts I call. So breathe into this beautiful flower at your heart, and then imagine a petal being placed at the center of your eyebrows. This beautiful petal being placed right at your third eye point. And then feel into your heart. And then a petal moves into the right temple, and then back to the heart. A petal to the right facial cheek, back to the heart. To the right shoulder, back to the heart. Right side of the ribs, back to the heart. A petal in the right thigh, back to the heart. A petal to the right ankle, back to the heart. A petal is placed at the left ankle, and back to the heart. A petal is placed to the left thigh, back to the heart. A petal to the left ribs, back to the heart. A petal on the left shoulder, back to the heart. A petal on the left facial cheek, back to the heart. A petal at the left temple, back to the heart. And then a petal is placed straight up into the midbrain, the pineal and pituitary gland, this beautiful fragrant petal melting into the master glands. And you feel back into this blossoming flower of the heart, and all these beautiful petals placed in these nerve-rich heart meridian points, all connecting to this blossom at the heart, all blessing the energetic parts of the body. Again, the petal at the space between the eyebrows, right temple, right facial cheek, right shoulder, right ribs, right thigh, right ankle, feeling all those petals on the right side. Petal on the left ankle, left thigh, left ribs, left shoulder, left facial cheek, left temple, and the midbrain, all these points on the left side. And from your heart, you feel all these points fragrant and blessed and absorbing the heart energy from this unique, powerful flower that is only bloomed from your heart, that has grown from deep in the earth up through your power centers and moving out. And for a moment, just let yourself feel the body in bloom and blessed and supported. Feel the whole body receiving this beautiful floral blessing, deeply rooted in the earth. And let yourself feel the whole body. As you inhale, the whole body receives. And as you exhale, we move back into the heart. Inhale, the body receives. Exhale, back to the heart. Just feel a few breaths. Inhale, receive this energy in the whole body. And exhale, pour back into your heart. Inhale, body expands and receives all the blessings available. And on the exhale, back to your heart. And again, inhale, full body receiving. Exhale into the heart, heart blooming. The heart is blooming and blossoming even more. Feel into your heart. Feel your heart blossom and bloom. And as you sense the heart, as you sense this beautiful flower supporting you, blooming, feel into the quality of unworthiness. Any part of you that is still holding the vibration of unworthiness, shine some light, some nectar on that space right now with this beautiful blooming flower. Any part of you without a story or attachment, any part of you that is struggling with this unworthiness, any trace, and maybe it's a color, it's a sensation, it's a temperature. Just feel any part of you that is unworthy at this time, that claims this unworthiness at this time. And then drop back into this floral connection and feel into the quality of value, valuable. And notice the difference. What parts of you resonate with value, with valuable, able to value? What parts of you are you able to value without attachment, without a label? What is able to value? And then feel back into your heart, back into your blooming, blossoming heart. Body receiving, heart blooming, letting go, letting go. Let yourself drop deeper and deeper into your heart. And as you begin to travel down through the petals, down into the heart of this beautiful flower, you actually find yourself in a tiny, tiny sacred garden of your heart. So within the petals and the makeup of this beautiful blooming flower, down in the tiniest cell of the flower, the tiniest cell of your heart, there is this secret garden, this sacred garden. And you enter it and you notice right now in this garden of your heart, what season is it? Time of day? Is it well fed? Does it need some tending? What's in this garden? Are there plants, animals, water? Feel into this beautiful garden of your heart. Let yourself receive it. Receive this garden. And you can, anything you want, you can allow it to appear. If you want to weed a certain area, if you want a fountain, a stream, just let yourself drop into this sacred garden in the deepest cell of the heart and let it bloom, let it blossom. And again, notice the allies, the animals, the energies around you, the sky. And when the garden feels as beautiful and comfortable as you can make it, find a comfortable place to sit or lie down in this garden. Again, just observe. What do you smell in this garden of your heart? What do you taste? What do you hear? What do you see? Feel your body resting in this garden, receiving from every sensory space, everything you need to feel nourished, to feel valuable, to connect to beauty and abundance. Let yourself receive here in this garden all the beautiful fruits or veggies. Again, are there butterflies, hummingbirds? And as you feel yourself getting more and more full, again, maybe look for that water source. Maybe a fountain, a stream, a pond. Let yourself gaze at your reflection in this water source, whether it's streaming or still water. And as you gaze at your reflection, call in your beauty, call in your value and your worth, and see it reflected back to you in these waters in this garden. And when you feel again full of this reflection, feel into the body, any part of the body that is holding on to outdated stories of worth, of power, of resource. Gently place that body part in the waters, or bring the water to the body and let the waters wash through and cleanse. Water nourishes earth, and earth holds water. Let yourself hold some space here with this garden and reflection and water and earth to fill every part of you with what it is you want to receive right now, the space you want to receive from. And let the water and the earth take away any outdated values, ideas, anything that no longer serves your most sensual, sustainable self. And the truth is, you can come here anytime. This garden is always part of your heart. And as we move through this eclipse cycle, this new moon, this full moon, come here and nourish yourself, receive yourself, cleanse yourself. And perhaps there's a message, perhaps there's a gift, or maybe you again just rest in the intention of I receive, I receive, I receive. Slowly feel the breath pulsing from your heart, and the images of the garden swirl and dance to begin to move out, back into that full bloom blossom. And you feel the heart still filling and receiving the body. And you travel down the stem, back to the base of the spine, down into the earth. Feel your connection to the earth as you release anything you don't want to carry forward into this cycle, anything you want to surrender with the dark moon. And you can choose to keep this grounding cord intact. You can come back to it anytime you want. And just remember to trust that blossoming of the heart, to tend that garden of your heart during this cycle. Offer gratitude to the earth, to the body, to the cycles, to the seasons, to the land, the ancestors, the allies. As this journey for the Taurus cycle is now complete. And as the images swirl and seal, blessing you for this time, you might again feel the breath from the heart. Feel the parts of the body in contact with the earth. Begin to deepen the breath. Come back to your senses. Come out to the senses here and now. Smell, taste, sensation, sound. Let that seeing be the last sense to return as you might start to very sweetly and slowly bring yourself back. No rush as you move, stretch. You want to go through, child's pose or any movement, but eventually I would love for you to be sitting with any other items again that you were using to smell and taste and touch. Comfortable position. So as you feel your body return to the earth, you might notice that space at the base of the spine, knowing you can always drop that grounding cord. And we are affected by Uranus, which is the lightning strike, right? Which is that revolution. So anytime you're feeling unstable, anxious, connect to that grounding cord. And in this time, as Venus starts to move into the heart, right? Know that grounding cord can blossom and bloom and open you up and move from your heart, move from your senses. So I just want to invite you to connect to those senses a little bit more. So if you have that oil that you can smell, if you have an item that you can sweetly taste, some fruit or honey, and just for this next moment, make this very much part of the ritual. So as I mentioned with Taurus, we only need to be present with our senses. So connect to the earth, come to your body and start to bring the senses in. And we don't need to overindulge. So just a smell of the oil, a little, I'm going to have like a little taste of honey. And savor it, really connect to that. And let that be that initial ritual of just come into your body, come into your senses, bring yourself into beauty. And you can take a couple of moments here and just enjoy, take some delight, right? Sacred art, sacred beauty, sacred pleasure. And then when you feel like you are full, right? You're present, you're in your body, your senses have been satisfied. Wrap your arms around yourself so that your arms are crossed, or you can also just place your hands over your heart, but it's nice to do the opposite, and then just let yourself rock. And again, let your senses stay present. And so Scorpio is the shaman, the witch energy, and Taurus being the sensual earth. And so as we come into this time, there's a lot of things that are coming up, and it can be very challenging, as I said, to move from our own value and worth. And my teachers, Danielle Dulski, taught us this beautiful body pendulum practice that I think is so valuable for this Taurus Scorpio aspect, where again, we're not looking to anything outside of ourselves to give us signs or indications. And so the way that this works best, and it's a practice, right? It's an exploration, is, as I said, to take some time to get into your body, to move, to shake, to feed your senses. So all those beautiful Taurus aspects. And then place the hands, as I said, over the heart or over the shoulders. Let yourself rock side to side. And then again, let your senses continue to fill and come into those heartfelt emotions. So love, gratitude, appreciation, and maybe even start to chant that: love, gratitude, appreciation, or even compassion, empathy, beauty. So any of these Taurus or even the Pisces energies: love, compassion, empathy, beauty, love, gratitude, beauty, compassion. Just really let yourself feel full. So we all know what it's like when we're in an elevated state, right? So like when you step out into the warm earth and the sun and the flowers, and we just feel that buzzing, right? So you want to do this until you feel that buzzing, right? So if you're really low energy and you're not feeling it, then it's a good sign to just rest and nourish yourself. And that, as I said, is a powerful Taurus ritual. But if you start to feel that buzzing, that energy, right, that Uranus, that energy through you, you can set the intention in your body, keeping that elevated emotion. Be like, okay, body, what's a yes? Let yourself be still. Body, what's a yes? And a lot of times the body will start to move. A lot of times, if you've ever worked with a pendulum, it's usually a crystal or stone on a chain, and you ask it, what is a yes? What is a no? What is a maybe? And it will move in different shapes. And this literally works for the body when we're in an elevated state. What is a yes? And then when you feel like there's a rarely clear answer, even if it's small, then you come back to center, stay with the elevated emotion. Again, connect to your senses. What is a no? And the body may start to take a different thing. And if you start to feel frustrated or like nothing's happening, just come back to nourishing your senses, come back to raising the heart vibration. But then once you feel like you have a clear yes or no, you come back to center. And then oftentimes we'll ask a simple question first of like, is today Sunday? And then you'll notice what the body does. And if the body gives a correct answer, so it's important that it's a clear yes or no, then you come back to center. So always come back to center between questions and elevate the energy with that love, compassion, gratitude, or the senses. And then if there's a question, so again, a yes or no question. So if it's something of like, well, should I do this? Should I go there? And a lot of times start with something simple around your body, your day, and then just notice the indication the body gives. And then you can choose to honor that, Or a lot of times, if you're not sure, then just let this be a practice. Just maybe write down what the body said and then just observe how the day unfolds. And it can be something as simple as like, should I wear my pink shirt? My body is saying no. Apparently it likes the black one. And this is just a powerful Taurus Scorpio of, again, knowing that we are divine, we are a channel, and learning to trust our body and our value. But as I said, this doesn't have to be anything major. It doesn't have to be a major life decision, or it can be. Or if this just doesn't feel comfortable for you, then just focus on that ritual of nourishment and sensory pleasure. If you are working with the pendulum, once you have your answers, make sure you really tune into gratitude. Offer a lot of gratitude to the body, to the earth. And then again, let yourself ground. Again, maybe take another taste of something, smell of something, breathe it in. And then very important at this time to finish with gratitude, to finish with thanking your body, thanking your earth, and asking the earth, asking that divine goddess within, that charge of the goddess or deity or energy or divine source, asking them to guide you to be the highest version of yourself, the most sensual, the most joyful, and really honoring your value and your worth. Receiving from the heart at this time as Venus moves into the heart and she sheds her armor, she sheds her breastplate as she moves closer to the underworld. That's the symbolism of this time, as we shed that breastplate. And that's a very powerful symbol with a Scorpio Taurus, right? To shed the breastplate and to move from the heart, from this place of beauty and sensuality. Take a big, big breath in. Open mouth, side out. Place your hands to your heart or a hand to the earth. May all beings be safe and happy and healthy and free. And may our practice in this time support all beings in the earth. And so it is. Many, many blessings for a beautiful Taurus cycle, this first eclipse cycle. Take it easy, be gentle. Again, remember healthy receiving, enjoy spirit into matter, self-worth. And if you have questions or anything, you can always reach out to me. The Venus Pisces gate is on the 26th, though, exactly on the 26th. And as I mentioned, that new moon partial eclipse on the 30th. Lots of love, many blessings. Look where Taurus is in your chart, or I can always help you with that. And if you're on the recording, reach out with any questions. I'm going to end so that I can spend some time with the live folk. Many, many blessings. Take care.